Good morning, everyone. As I promised, I'm recording each class week by week, and I'm providing a summary and consolidated class. So you will see that the duration of these videos, it's less than 1 hour. And normally we spend almost 2 hours explaining the same class live when we are in the office. So the lessons that we're going to touch today, it's the Scrum roles and responsibilities. Scrum roles and responsibilities. As you know, we have this program for this calendar, and the Scrum roles and responsibilities were part of the week number 3 and number 4, right? Remember that we had a holiday, President's Day, and that week, that's why we need to move 1 week the preparation for the Scrum exam. So the exam will be the week of March 11 and 13, this day. So now today for tomorrow, today is Saturday. The next Monday we'll be talking about Scrum artifacts or artifacts in their language. So let me talk about the roles and responsibilities. As you can see, I'm here week number 3 and week number 4 together, like in one video. So I will be creating just one video for these 2 sessions. Remember that Agile and Scrum, what is the relationship between Agile and Scrum? Remember that the slogan for this class is elevating our lives through digital transformation and agile mindset. So we need to know what is agile mindset, and then we can explain what is Scrum framework. So the agile mindset is a philosophy guided by values and founded in principles. So remember, we have 4 values and 12 principles, right? The individuals are more important than tools. The changes are welcome all the time, better than following a plan. That customer collaboration is better than contract negotiation. And the value number 4 is that working software is better than a comprehensive documentation. Those are the 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4 values of Agile. The 12 principles I'm not going to mention because it's too much information. But for now, remember that Agile mindset, Agile, it's a mindset, right? It's guided by principles and based on values and principles. And as part of the Agile, we have different frameworks or methodologies. One could be XP. The other one could be DevOps. The other one could be Kanban, right? The other one could be Scrum. So Scrum, it's a framework under Agile umbrella, and is the most popular framework under Agile mindset. So when you're talking about Scrum, it prescribes 3 roles, 5 ceremonies, and 3 artifacts. These 5 ceremonies is the same as ceremonies, meetings, and events. It's the same. Activities, you can name it a different way. So don't get confused. So the 3-5-3, it's the 3 roles, 1, 2, the team, and 3. Those are the 3 roles: the product owner, the development team, and the Scrum Master, right? So today we're going to talk about the 3 roles. As part of the agenda, we will be covering Scrum team's characteristics, Scrum stakeholders, product owner, Scrum Master, and development team. A couple of additional information that I know it's going to help us to pass the exam. So what happened with the Scrum team? How this type of team is different from traditional? I love that question. It's because the Scrum team, it's only 3 roles. No 5, no 6, no 2, no 1, it's 3. So we have the 3 roles, only 3 in the Scrum project. Additional roles are not allowed in the Scrum team. Why? Because it's going to affect the unity and the integrity of the team, right? This is not aligned to Scrum philosophy. So the Scrum team refers to all the project team members. So this is the Scrum team, right? The Scrum team, it's including the product owner, the Scrum master, and the developers, okay? So the development team, if you want to name as a specific role, is these 3 guys, the development team. But when I mention the Scrum team, it's including the product owner and the Scrum master. So let's talk about product owner, Scrum master, and development team members. The stakeholders can be involved in a project. They're not considered internal. And we mentioned that like 5 times during the class. That is, a stakeholder is someone that is external to the team and is any person, organization, or entity that can be affected for any one or more project objectives. So anyone outside the team, outside the Scrum team. So stakeholders can be a customer, an investor, the government, the community. Those are stakeholders, right? So when the project is not internal, the customer is a stakeholder. So the customer is an example of the stakeholders. So always we're going to have external stakeholders. That it's normally. We're going to have a couple of people outside of the Scrum team. So the Scrum team, it's self-organized, meaning that the Scrum team make a decision about what to do, how it's going to implement or execute the work. We know what we're doing. Let us decide how to do it, when to do it, who's gonna do it as a team. So we don't have not managed or directed by others. That is a no in Scrum. That is in traditional. That we had this guy here in the top and the team members in the bottom. That's traditional, right? Traditional. And this guy was providing instructions or guidance, do this, and assigning tasks. Not anymore. In Scrum, it's not like that. So we are self-organized, and also because we make a decision about what to do, and we are cross-functional. What does that look like? Cross-functional meaning that the Scrum team, we as a team, we have the expertise and skills and abilities to get the job done without help from outside team. So we have all the work is going to take to create a product, a service, a solution, a result. So we can get the job done without help from outside team. That is cross-functional. Self-organized, we make our own decisions. Cross-functional is that we have all the skills we need. So we are independent, kind of independency, yes. So Scrum team characteristics. If the work that we need to do, it's a lot of work for the current team, we can remove or change selected items. Recruit additional development team members before the work begins. Those are recommendations, not a big deal for the exam. We talk about the stakeholders, and we have some examples: employees, government, customer, society, owners, community, lenders, and suppliers. Don't get confused with this circle that Henry was talking about. I understand this is a little bit confusing because we have the users, product owner, and we put in here the product owner and the Scrum Master as the stakeholders, which is yes and no. But I don't want you get confused with this chart. Pay attention to this chart. We're talking about that we have a couple of external people that is going to impact the project. Those are the stakeholders by definition. Now, let's talk about the product owner. Product owner is one person. It's not a team. Can be a committee, but should be one person representing the committee, which is the product owner. Do not need to be developers. Not necessary to be developers. I will say I don't recommend to do both roles. However, the product owner, he needs to understand very good the business operations and also the business strategies in order to articulate the user stories and create the product backlog. So it's one product owner for one project and one product backlog for the entire project. Keep that in mind. One product owner for the project and one product backlog for the entire project. The product owner is responsible for the product backlog. That is the most important statement of this section about the product owner. What is the most important responsibility of a product owner? Is that is responsible for the product backlog. He needs to make sure that each user story, it's easy to understand. What is the user story? What is that? Anyone? What is a user story? I'm listening, Jessica. I'm listening, O'Neill. I'm listening, Cindy, Joseph, Kimberly, Harry. So, and Lizzie too. So a user story, remember that the backlog, it's a list of requirements, right? Technical requirements. And the user stories are the components, but in a beautiful business language. That's the best definition. It's the description of a requirement, but in a business and simple language. So the product owner also communicates with customers to keep the product backlog updated. And it's so important. Also, he measures the performance of the project, and also he made like a projection, forecast completion date, and make this information transparent. So you will see a couple of examples about the Kanban and the calendars coming up. So the product owner must be respected. The entire organization must respect the product owner decisions. On one, no one, this is no one, not on one, no one, even the CEO, should try to override his decisions. Keep that in mind. It's the authority in terms of backlog and product vision. So another name that you may see in the exam is a product owner. It's also called value optimizer. Value optimizer. The product owner is one person. He's the owner of the product backlog. He can cancel any sprint. It's not very common, but he can do it. He can cancel a sprint. And also he's almost called value optimizer. Okay, what about the Scrum Master? Let's say the Scrum Master understands the Scrum. The Scrum Master, it's a coach, coaches the Scrum team to ensure all Scrum processes are implemented. So now the Scrum Master is not the project manager anymore. We are experts in removing impediments, facilitation, providing coach, teaching the team, change agent. Those are names that we receive. I say we because I'm considering myself a Scrum Master. And when you finish this class, you will be the Scrum Masters, right? So manager and servant leader. I love this terminology. The servant, we are servant leaders. Servant leaders. Look. So a servant leader is responsible to protect the team from distractions. Number 2, remove impediments and blockers. Number 3, help the team grow through teaching, coaching, and mentoring. And number 4, he brings water and food. When I'm not talking about water and food, it's not a pizza. It's whatever the team needs, he's supposed to resolve the problem or look at another team on another occasion, another meeting to coordinate and facilitate the problem resolutions for the team. So the Scrum Master is a management position which manages the Scrum processes, not the Scrum team, rather than the Scrum team. So we are not inspecting or managing people. We as Scrum Masters, we are managing what? The Scrum process, but not the team. So we are not the boss, right? That has to be very clear for the exam. So the servant leader, we are servant leaders for the Scrum team. Also, we need to teach the organization in its efforts to adopt Scrum. So it's not only helping the team to understand Scrum, but also the entire organization. That is good to know. It's the entire organization. We remove impediments to the development team. We facilitate events and trains and coaches the team. That's he, not me, he. In this case, he facilitates events. He trains and coaches the team. That's the Scrum Master. I'm just changing the word, but it's the same. I consider myself as a Scrum Master. Okay. So the Scrum Master also helps product owner by consulting on finding techniques, communicating information, and facilitating the Scrum events. Okay? So we need to work and help the product owner. Very, very relevant information. So the Scrum Master also helps those outside the Scrum team understand the appropriate interaction with the Scrum team. So if someone wants to do something with the Scrum team, the best way to do is that maybe you need to speak with a Scrum Master so they can include any conversation, any requirements. But remember, we need to put everything into the product backlog. It's the only source of work. So the Scrum Master, possible for a single person to be Scrum Master and a team member. So this is possible, but I don't recommend that. That you can have both roles, Scrum Masters and team members. You see, it's not recommended. Yay. It's not recommended. So the Scrum Master acts as a shield for the team, protection, can remove team members that are causing any conflicts. It's good to know that. Keep the stakeholders abiding by rules, keeping the Scrum process. I love this example. For example, only inspecting one increment at the sprint review. So the Scrum Master has the authority to create a couple of rules, right, about the stakeholders. So only inspecting one increment at a time. So this is just an example, something that the Scrum Master can do. So the Scrum Master and impediments, when there are a series or many blockers, impediments, or obstacles, the Scrum Master is supposed to alert the management to the impediments and impacts. So making a list of issues and then have a conversation with the top executives to explain that we are having a lot of impediments and we need help and escalate to the executive team of the organization. So the Scrum Master make consultations, can speak with the development team at any time, of course. And he is responsible to prioritize the impediments list and also resolve each in order. So we have the list of impediments, and the Scrum Master is responsible to organize and prioritize the list and say, hey, we're going to attack this one first. So he's the one prioritizing the issues or impediments. Issues, problems, defects, bugs. This is different names for the same thing: problems, issues, bugs, defects. So the product owner is responsible to prioritize the list. So the Scrum Master is a servant leader. The product owner engages a stakeholder. The product owner must be available to the development team. The Scrum Master can inform the product owner's functional manager. So it's open communication with the different executive. The Scrum Master can resolve the problems in the sprint retrospective, which is one of the 5 ceremonies of Scrum. I want to talk about that later, coming up. So now we know the role of the product owner and the role of the Scrum Master. Now let's talk about the development team. The development team are experts responsible for delivering the items, doing the work, and managing their efforts. I love that. Remember the 2 terminologies that we learned at the beginning of the class is that we are the development team, not we, because I'm the Scrum Master. So the development team is cross-functional and self-organized. Cross-functional is that we have all the capabilities, the skills, and abilities to create the increment for each product backlog item. So we know how to transform a requirement into an increment. I love that. And we all, the team also is self-organized, which is nobody's going to tell them what to do. Self-organized is that they don't need inspectors or managers, right? Find their own way instead of receiving orders. So this is a no. We don't, the development team never receive orders from another supervisor. So the whole development team is responsible and accountable. Not individual owns any task. So this is in reality collaboration, team collaboration, 100%. So if something is wrong, someone made a mistake from marketing and we are a meeting just reporting the situation, never we're going to say, okay, Leslie from marketing, she did it wrong. No, it's us as a team. We made that mistake. We apologize and move forward. But never mention one person if something is bad. So the development team delivers the final product of the project in step-by-step increments. We know that. Increments. Increments is one of the 3 artifacts of Scrum, as defined in the product backlog. So the whole development team is responsible, and the development team delivers the final product, step-by-step increments, as defined where? Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Henry. In the product backlog. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Malik. Lizzie. Who else? Lizzie, Cindy, Kimberly, Jessica, O'Neill, Joseph, Henry, Malik, and Edwards. All right, so development team. The development team works full-time in a single project. I think, O'Neill, you asked me that last week. You see, we work full-time in one project. The development team members should not change often, yes, because it could be a decrease the productivity of the team. So the team member changes should not happen during the sprint. It can affect the productivity. You see here, this can affect the productivity. The Scrum is effective when there are 3 to 9 development team members. 3 to 9, no more than that. Why the self-organizing idea it's so cool and so nice and so agile is because boost to creativity, team and project commitment, and also accuracy of estimates. Yes, because the development team, they are the ones who knows what to do and how they are going to do it and who's gonna do it. So they are the best people to create the estimates of duration of each activity or each task. So this is the best idea, just to let them be creative. That creates a commitment as a team, and also they are accurate when they are given estimates. I love that. So self-organizing development team, when new team are starting a project, pay attention because that is not traditional. We ensure the team understand they need a definition of done. Remember my daughter to clean the room? We need to specify what done is including what steps. So this is the definition of done. When you see DOD, is the definition of done. So it provides transparency in the execution. So the Scrum team members introduce themselves and give a brief background of their skills and work history. This is when they are starting, like beginning a new project. That's the introduction of the team. So the product owner explains the product or project, its history, goals, and context, as well as answer questions. So the product owner, you see, he's the one who is providing all the business solutions, product or service information. So he is the expert and he will be building the product backlog. Development team considerations. Bring the team together and let them self-organize. They do it like independent. Existing teams can propose how they want to organize. So we cannot touch the decisions of the team. I love it. Large projects are used in a scale module with multiple Scrum teams. So you can have a huge project with a huge product backlog. Because this product backlog is so big that you can have different Scrum teams. Okay. Product owner, Scrum master, and development team. Product owner, Scrum master, and development team. Product owner, Scrum master, and development team. The name of this configuration is Scrum of Scrum. Scrum, which is not part of this class and is not part of the exam. The Scrum of Scrum. The Scrum of Scrum. So a huge backlog, a huge project can be assigned to different teams. Team number 1, team number 2, team number 3. So they are going to take responsibility for a specific set of product backlog items, you see. Blue, this team number 3. So large projects are use scale module with multiple Scrum teams. Development team considerations, large projects use a scale module with multiple Scrum teams. I mentioned that. So multiple Scrum teams are not common. So it's not part of this class. It's not my intention to explain this. So don't worry about it. Adding new Scrum teams will not affect the productivity. You see, multiple development teams should be self-forming based on the vision and Scrum rules. All teams need a common definition of done. So in case that you see this question in the exam, you know that all teams need a well understood and clear and common definition of done if they're working in the same backlog. Keep that in mind. All teams should have the same sprint starting date. Oh my gosh, this is so important. If you have the multiple Scrum teams, they need to start the sprint the same day, all of them. 4 teams, team 1, team 2, 3, and 4, they need to start the sprint and finish the sprint the same day. They need to synchronize. Synchronization between teams, that is important. The development team should deliver additional features in a usable state that complement those delivered in the previous iterations. What is this? This is the definition of done. So the increment must follow or comply with the definition of done, the increment. So the development team should deliver the additional features in a usable state. What is usable state? That complies with the definition of done is usable. So the definition of done must to include the specifications for the increment can be used, which is usable, that complement those delivered in previous iterations. So at the end of each sprint, you will have different iterations, right? Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. Those are iterations, right? It's the same iterations and sprints. So this sprint is going to produce an increment that is going to complement the previous one. So here's the version 1. Now in this one, you can have another version, more detail with more features and capabilities. So this is the explanation of this statement, that you can add value to the same increment at the end of each sprint. If the team cannot finish all the sprint backlog items, the sprint backlog, remember sprint backlog? What is the sprint backlog? Anyone? Yes, exactly. It's a subset of the product backlog. But if we as a team said, okay, we're going to execute or implement these 3 items in this sprint, however, it's, oh my gosh, today's the deadline and we didn't finish, don't worry. They do not include the items in the increment of the current sprint. That's normal because it's not done. And they do not show the item in the sprint review and the demo. So we need to exclude that item and do not show something that is not done yet. They must estimate it and return it to the product backlog for the product owner to decide what to do with the items. That is clear, and explain that nobody wants to do that. Okay, Lisa, but we spent 3 hours in that. Please provide, give me credit for 50% of the item. No way, that's not how it works. We need to return the item to the product backlog so we can estimate the item or the user stories one more time from scratch. Other roles. Scrum does not allow other roles. Members have the same role and title, development team members. Different titles and roles, sheets focus. Look at this. Why? What is the reason? Because different titles like quality engineer, design expert, those roles, what the impact is that the different titles and roles shifts focus to specific role, and individuals might not pay enough attention to the final product. They can be distracted to the personal role and not pay enough attention to the final product and say, hey, I need to concentrate just in quality because I'm the quality expert. No, not anymore. Now you need to focus on the final result, final product. Regardless, you are the expert in quality, okay? So pay attention to the final increment. So the development team members are responsible for all the outputs created in the development team. You see, the development team members are responsible for all the increment created. It's not only one. Okay, I'm going to deliver this feature because I'm the best, and I don't care about you guys. You can do whatever you want. No. The increment is my responsibility. That's why it's a team collaboration like never before in traditional collaboration. So there's no such role in Scrum. Project manager, it doesn't exist in Scrum anymore. So this is a no. This is a to confuse you. If you see something like this in the exam, it's because they are testing you. So no such role in Scrum. None of the role act as a traditional project manager. The Scrum Master responsibilities are different than traditional project managers. Remember the Scrum Masters. Servant leader. So what happened, Lisette? Explain to me what happens to project management. Thank you for asking. Project management responsibilities are distributed among the three roles: product owner, Scrum Master, and the development team. So that's why we don't need the project manager anymore, because we are distributing the tasks and roles to these three roles. There's no centralized project management in Scrum. There is not centralized project management in Scrum. Hey, any question? Guys, I'm so happy because we're doing this class in less than 1 hour, and it's a consolidation version. So we don't need to record another chapter for the next week, for the next topic of this week. But we're putting together the two topics in one presentation. Key takeaways. Scrum teams are self-organized and they manage their own effort. The product owner is responsible for the product backlog. The Scrum Master is the servant leader for the team. The development team are experts that are responsible for delivering the backlog items and managing their efforts. I'm happy to announce that we finished this class. So we're talking about today roles, Scrum roles and responsibilities. Take care. I will see you next Monday. And also, I'll be recording the rest of the classes. So you can have this resource for you to study and also to refresh the knowledge. Have a wonderful weekend and take care. Bye.